Hi, my name is Parish Coleman. I just want to tell you a little bit of my story about how I began to follow Jesus here at Lifehouse. So, growing up, I was a very troubled kid. I was, as everyone is, trying to figure out where they stand in the society and, kind of what you are going to end up being in the rest, for the rest of your life or what your plans are. And, I struggled with that a lot. Growing up, I ended up going down some dark roads, some dark paths. Eventually to a road that led me to a lot of drug addiction and a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, a lot of anger. I didn't have what I felt like I needed for guidance, and that I felt like that put me on that path. And basically what happened to me was I just got stuck on those drugs and, felt like I needed those things to make me feel whole and make me feel better about myself. And eventually it put me on a path of destruction, complete destruction. For a while there, I was so addicted to these drugs, I felt like I needed to do them every day. And that definitely changed my mental, of my stability and how I looked at life and how I looked at other relationships and other things around me. And I didn't have God in my life. I didn't have Jesus in my life. And what it took was a wake-up call on my road down a bad path on my relationship, where I ended up behind a jail cell to really think, why am I not following Jesus, or why am I not doing the right thing? Because as a grown man, you should be doing those things, or doing those things that are right, instead of going straight for the things that are wrong. And I was not making those choices. So once I was behind that jail cell, I picked up the Bible and I kind of started my path of following Jesus, starting at that point, and that was about 3 years ago. Once that happened, I basically decided that I was never going to go down that road that I was on, but something needed to change. And once I got out of jail and got back with my family and realized that they needed me in a way that I never would imagine that I could get to, that's kind of where I decided where I completely wanted to follow Jesus. But it wasn't really until I got to Lifehouse, where I got around the community, the church, the family, and everything that Lifehouse represents, that made me literally want to follow Jesus. And it was actually the sermon that was Leave a Legacy that made me decide to get baptized and to do other things like life groups, which I was in the 5 Lies That Ruin Relationships counseling, couple counseling life group here at Lifehouse. And those things made me strive to be a better man and a better person. The baptism was great for me. Baptism made me feel like a brand new person. When they say you literally are, your old you is dying and your new self is being reborn, that's exactly how I felt and how I still feel. Pretty much at that point, that's when I realized that my family and my legacy needed to be started right at that moment. So I proposed to my, at that time, girlfriend, who is now my wife. And, those things just helped me keep building on the foundation of following Jesus and doing better in my life. And, I couldn't be more happy at this point in my life that I've, made that decision to follow Jesus and to get rid of the drugs and the depression and the shame and the feeling worthiness, because that feeling of worth is something you get by following Jesus or following God. So at this point in my life, I've decided to look into youth ministry, because I want to be a guide to these kids that felt how I felt when I was their age, of not having a guide or someone to guide them. And there's a lot of kids out here that don't have father figures or don't have the proper guidance. And all it takes is that one person to give them the proper words and proper guidance for them to be on a great road to a mental stability that they need. The mental health is also very important to me. So if I can do something in some type of counseling, that would be great. Anything that I know that I can give back to the community that would be in light of following Jesus. Everything means a lot to me at this point, whether it be out in the community and doing things for my community, or doing things in my relationship and leaving a legacy for my own family. So everything about following Jesus has just changed my life completely. When it comes to leaving a legacy for my kids, I want to leave a legacy where they know that a relationship with Christ is very important in your life. I would show them that by my past, and explaining to them that, when I didn't have Christ in my life, I was going down this path and this road. And as soon as I got Christ in my life, the path and the road went from hard, difficult, and depression and darkness to a lot of light and a lot of positive vibes on that side. And I wanted to always give that and show that to my kids. So my leave a legacy will be to give my kids the relationship that Christ has given to me, that I have with him. Without that relationship in Christ, you wouldn't really probably even see me. There was plenty of times I could have ended up dead, and I want my kids to realize that those life decisions, if you base them on Christ, you won't have to worry about being in those bad situations or those bad places. So it's all about leaving a legacy and deciding to follow Christ, because that is what's most important.